So you can go ahead and get yourself situated. So we'll be on our backs and then knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and we'll take our feet all the way to the side edges of your mat and then allow your knees to knock in towards each other. And then we're going to start with our hands just resting on our lower belly. And then close the eyes. And then just start to tune into your breath. So for today's practice, we are specifically going to be focusing on the hips and the thoracic spine, which are on either side of the lumbar spine. So most people these days, just from sitting so much at home, spending a lot of time at the desk, low backs are taking the brunt. So we're going to spend some time opening the hips, which are our mobile joint. Our joints through the body, they alternate between stability and mobility being their primary job. So the hips' main job is to be mobile and have a large range of motion. And then our low backs are intended to be stable with less range of motion. And then our upper back is intended to have a lot of mobility and range of motion. And a lot of times just from sitting at the desk, our hips get really tight, our upper back gets really tight because we're not doing these motions frequently. And then when we go to do movement, our low back is then compensating and trying to come in to assist some of that range of motion. So we're going to work on opening up the upper back, work on opening up the hips to create some stability in the lumbar spine, in the core and the low back. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you just tuned in, we're on our backs to start, and feet are flat on the floor. Feet are wide to the edges of your mat, and your knees are knocked in towards each other. And so in this position, hands are resting on your belly. Knees are resting into each other. And then take a deep, full breath in. Try and feel the belly rise beneath the hands. And then long exhale through the mouth. Just sighing it out. Again, just like that, inhale through the nose. Fill up the space right beneath the hands. And out through the mouth, exhale. So just tuning in with your breath. As you start to check in, just notice if there's any areas of tightness here. Just arriving on your mat. And connecting with your breath. Long inhales through the nose. And then transitioning to breathing in and out through the nose. And starting to cultivate that Ujjayi breath. So scraping the breath against the back of the throat, allowing it to get deeper, fuller, and more audible. And then take one more round of breath. Rising beneath the hands. And then full exhale. And then you take your arms out to the side. Make a cactus shape with your arms. So bending your elbows like little goalposts. And then we're going to keep our feet wide. You're going to drop your knees over to the left. And then dropping your knees over to the right. So we're just going to windshield wiper the legs side to side. And as you drop the legs over to the side, I want this little slight zippering in of the belly, or zippering up of the belly, so that when we drop the knees over to the side, our low back isn't getting any pulling. So a slight engagement through the low belly, dropping those knees side to side. A couple more, dropping the knees to the left, and then over to the right. The upper body stays stable. Again, slight zippering in of the navel. I'm going to take one more over to the right. And then knees back to neutral. And then we'll bring our knees tight in towards our chest. Give a little squeeze. Maybe a few circles on the low back in one direction. Just massaging into the sacrum. And then moving into the opposite direction, a few circles. And then we're going to drop our knees, traditional twist, drop your knees over to the left, and then gazing over to that right shoulder. Have that arm in cactus shape still. And if this is too much on the lower back, you can kind of take your left hand and support that top right knee. Just giving a little support there so we're not pulling or rotating into that lumbar spine. So when we're limited in this thoracic spine rotation, that low back is the next in line trying to gain the rotation. So listen to your body. On your next exhale, draw your knees back up to center. And we're going to drop the knees over to the right and gaze over your left shoulder. Again, if you need to support that top leg, support. The stretch should not be in your lower back. It should be in that upper back, side ribs, maybe in the outside of the hip. Take a deep breath in. And full exhale. And drawing your knees in towards your chest. Tight little squeeze. And then we're going to start to rock forward and back along your spine. Up and down. A few rocks all the way up so you're tapping your feet on the ground. And then we're going to do one more, and we're going to cross our ankles. Plant your hands in front of you, and then step back into your plank position. And in your plank, pull your chest forward, hug your upper arms, firm your legs. You always have the option to be on your knees here. And 2 more deep breaths here, firming your legs, squeezing them towards each other, lifting your navel in and up. And then shift forward onto your tippy toes. Squeeze your elbows in towards your ribs as you slowly lower all the way onto your belly. Uncurl the toes. Bring your hands right next to your rib cage. And then inhale, tall chest as you move into cobra. Squeeze your elbows in. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. Full deep breaths. Big inhale. And slowly release. Exhale. We're going to come right back up again. Inhale, cobra. Maybe you're staying low. Maybe you can find a little bit more range of motion lifting up. Gentle engagement through the low belly. And exhale, lower back down. We're going to stay low in our cobra this time. Inhale, peel your chest forward and up. And we're going to hover our hands. So hovering the hands off the ground, trying to bend in through this upper thoracic spine, not in our low back. You're going to tilt your pelvis down so you're creating some space in the lumbar spine, engaging through the belly, and then squeeze your elbows in towards each other. Take one more deep breath and release. Exhale. And press to your hands and knees, tuck your toes, and downward facing dog. And then in your first downward facing dog, just take a few moments to pedal your feet out. And bending one knee, sending the opposite heel down. Just breathing into the backs of the legs, the calves. And letting your head be heavy. And then start to find some stillness. So the feet are about hips distance apart. And then if you can see the inner edges of your heels, I want you to just slide those heels out the slightest little bit so they're hiding right behind the ankle. And as much bend in your knees as you need to get a really long spine from your hands all the way up to your hips. And then pulling the ribs in, get long, lifting the sits bones up towards the ceiling. And take a couple deep breaths here. Pulling those ribs in, one more breath in your dog, hugging those upper arms. And then we're going to take our feet wide to the side edges of your mat. And you're going to probably walk your hands back a few inches. Not a huge step, just a few inches. We're going to do this spinal twist in our upper back. So you're going to take your right hand, grab the outer edge of your left shin or ankle. So grabbing as low as you can down the leg. So maybe that means you're grabbing your thigh, but do try to work your hand as low as you can. And then you're going to look underneath that left arm and pull to twist into that upper back. The hips are staying neutral. So this twist is up here through our shoulder blades, through our thoracic spine. Root strongly down into that left hand as you twist. Maybe that right elbow can bend to pull yourself deeper. And then we'll switch sides. Take the right hand down. Left hand will grab wherever you can, as close towards the ankle as you can. Keeping those hips neutral, right arm straight. Twist yourself underneath that right arm. Maybe bending into the left arm. Deep breath in. Deep breath out.
And then we'll release the hand. Bring your feet back to neutral, and then bring your hands back into your full downward facing dog. So if you walked them closer to your feet, just walk them back forward. Feet are hips distance. We're going to inhale, shift forward into your plank, top of a push-up. And with the feet hips distance, you're just going to drop both heels to the right, but you're going to keep the hands down. Legs are strong. Then you're coming back up to neutral. Drop the heels over to the left. Keep the belly engaged. Back to neutral and plank. We're just going to alternate back and forth. So heels over to the right. So you're on the inner and outer edges of your feet. Back up to neutral. Drop the heels over to the left. Back up to neutral. One more each. Heels over to the right. Back up. Heels over to the left. Back up. And then walk your hands back to meet your feet in your forward fold. So feet are hips distance, big bend in your knees, and allow your torso to fold completely. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. Maybe you're swaying your body side to side. Just let everything fold forward. Maybe you're holding onto your elbows as you sway. Just feeling out your spine. Rocking the weight slightly forward towards the fronts of your feet, and then start to lift up through the hips. I'm getting a little more extension through the back of the legs. And you'll release your arms, and then very slowly with a big bend in your knees, roll up one vertebrae at a time. As you come all the way up, stack your spine, stack your shoulders, roll the shoulders back, and stand tall. And then we'll make our way to the front of your mat. Let's have our feet hips distance. And then bring your hands to your heart center. And spread your toes. And as you stand here at the top of your mat, close your eyes. And so we're going to work a lot into some twists today. So opening up the hips, opening up the upper back, and stabilizing through that lumbar spine. So whatever you need today, if you need to modify things, listen to your body. Modify as needed. Make sure you take care of yourself. And let everything that we do today feel good. And take a deep, full breath in. Full breath out. Exhale. Soften the shoulders down the back. Feel little anchors on the base of your shoulder blades. Stand really tall. Feel your feet grounded into the mat beneath you. And send that energy from the ground all the way up through the spine and get tall. Lifting through the crown of the head. And then release your arms down by your side. Inhale, circle your arms out and up. Stretch tall. Take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Soft knees, lift up. Inhale. Side bend to the right. Exhale. Breathing into that left side rib, left rib cage, left lat. Inhale, come back up to neutral. Grab your right hand with your left wrist. Reach up. Inhale. Side bend to the left. Exhale. Reaching that rib cage towards the right side of the room. Inhale, come back up to neutral. Soft knees as you exhale. Dive forward, forward fold. Head and neck relax. Inhale, bring your hands up to your shins, flat back, and then pausing here. So as much bending your knees as you need to get a flat back as if you could rest a glass of water right on the back of your pelvis and your low back. If you're finding that you're rounding in your lower back, I want you to put a bigger bend in your knees and lift your chest a little bit higher. Okay, take a deep breath in, engage those shoulder blades onto the back, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back again, hands to shins, find your position. Plant your hands, step back into your plank. Shifting forward, either on your toes or on your knees. Squeeze your elbows as you slowly lower all the way onto your belly. Inhale, untuck the toes, cobra. Squeeze your elbows in, engage the upper back. Stay here for an extra breath. If you want to move into an upward facing dog, you can. Tops of your feet press, hands press, roll your shoulders back. And then everyone hips up and back, downward facing dog. And bring your feet a little closer together. Take your right leg up, inhale, and bend the knee, open the hip, exhale. Lifting that left hip up and back, as much bend in your knee as you need, that left leg. And then do a few ankle circles with that right. Other direction. And then straighten the leg, square off your hips, and set the foot down. Other side. Left leg up, inhale. Bend your knee, open the hip, exhale. Keep lifting that right hip up away from your right hand, reaching that left knee high. And then a few ankle circles. Other direction. And straighten the legs, square off the hips, and set the foot down. Come high onto your tippy toes. Look forward towards your hands, and you're going to stay on your tippy toes as you walk your feet as close to your hands as you can, staying on those toes for as long as you can, and then heels down. Inhale, flat back to lengthen. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, circle your arms out and up, stretch tall. Hands pull down to the heart, exhale. Inhale, circle the arms out and up. Take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Inhale, stretch tall. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, lift up, switch sides. Grab your right wrist with your left hand, side bend to the left. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back to lengthen. Plant your hands, step back into your plank. Shifting forward, squeeze your elbows, slowly lower all the way down through your chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, so whatever you need today. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Take your right leg up, inhale, bend the knee, open the hip, exhale. Straighten the leg and square off the hip, set it down. Left leg up, inhale, bend the knee, open the hip, exhale. Straighten the leg, square it off, and set the foot down. High onto your toes, look towards your hands. Tippy toe your feet all the way forward towards your hands. And inhale, flat back, lengthen. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, circle the arms out and up, stretch tall, strong legs. Take a hold of your left wrist, side bend to the right, exhale. Inhale, lift tall, grab your right wrist, exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, lift tall, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lengthen through your spine. Plant your hands, step back into your plank. Slowly lower chaturanga, lowering all the way to the floor, or maybe pausing in chaturanga, shoulders lifted. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Deep breath in. Full breath out. One more deep breath. We're going to do a little core work. Full inhale. Full exhale. High onto your toes. Bend your knees, exhale. Either tiptoe your feet towards your hands like we just did, or hop your feet to your hands. Keep your hips really low. Inhale, rise up, chair pose. And sinking your heels down into the floor. Shift your hips back so you can see your toes. Engage through the belly and lifting that chest tall. And take a couple deep breaths here. We're going to start to sink a little bit lower. A little bit lower, so you're sitting into this tiny little children's chair. Maybe a little bit lower, as low as you can go. And then you're going to spread your knees, take your knees wide until your feet separate slightly. Hips can come in between, chest rest in between your legs, and sink your hips down. And maybe that means a plop. And then you take your feet forward in front of you and then lower onto your back. Okay. Let your head rest down onto the floor. Take your hands behind your head. And then we're going to take our legs up towards the ceiling. So we're going to do a little twisted core here. I'm going to give some modifications. So with your legs up towards the ceiling, you're going to keep your right leg right where it is. And we're going to take our left leg down to the floor. So this is the harder variation with our left leg hovering. Easier modification is keeping the left foot flat with the knee bent, like so. Okay? You're going to lift your head and chest off the ground. And then we're going to twist to the right, and you're going to take your left arm and reach outside your right leg. We're reaching towards the other side. And then I want you to think about getting your right shoulder blade as light as you can on the mat. So it's really easy to just twist and let it sink. I want you to try and get it lighter. So either foot flat or left leg hovering. Okay? The right leg is the only leg that's going to be moving. Okay? Take an inhale here. Exhale, lower your right leg down to hover. Inhale, bring it back up. Okay, so maybe that left leg is out. Exhale, lower the right leg to meet the left. Inhale, back up. We're staying in the twist. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Take whatever modification you need. Exhale, lower. Belly's engaged. Inhale, lift. We're just stabilizing through the core. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. 2 more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Try and get that right shoulder blade light. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Do 1 more and hold. So holding that right leg down low. Maybe the left leg is forward. Maybe you're modified. Take your body to center. So arms forward. Maybe both legs are forward. Maybe foot is flat. Lift as high as you can. Breathe. And then knees pull in towards your chest. Good. Nice work. Little rock side to side. Other side. We're going to take our hands back behind our head. Legs up towards the ceiling. Spread your toes. So the left leg is going to stay lifted, and that's the leg that's going to be moving. Either take your right leg forward or place the foot flat onto the ground in a modified position. Lift your head and shoulders. Twist to the left. Take your right arm outside your left leg. Try and get that left shoulder blade light on the mat. Exhale, lower your left leg. Inhale, lift. Nothing changes in the spine. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Find that little shaky spot. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. 1 more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. We're going to lower and hold. Center your torso. Reach your arms. We're in this half boat. Lift your chest a little higher. Squeeze your legs. And then knees to chest. Nice job. Little rock on your sacrum. Rolling around side to side. And then we're going to rock forward and back. We're going to do a couple rocks. And we're going to cross at the ankles on this next one. Plant your hands and either step or jump back into a chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, and take an extra breath in your cobra or upward facing dog, just to stretch out the belly. And then downward facing dog, exhale, hips up and back. Deep breath in. Full breath out, exhale. And come high into your toes, inhale. Bend your knees, exhale, look forward towards your hands and either step or float to the front. Inhale, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, chair pose. And then we look down, take your feet hips distance apart if they're not already. So we're in this chair pose. We're going to do a mellow twist, so not your deepest twist. Sinking your hips low, bring your hands to your heart center, and we're going to twist our left elbow to the inside of our left knee. So rather than twisting all the way to the outside of the right leg, we're going to go a little bit gentler to start and go to the inside of the knee and find a twist. If that feels really easy for you, you can take your feet together and take the hand to the outside, but I want you to be mindful of the low back. We're trying to find this work and openness in the thoracic spine. I'll show you this direction. So your hands will come together, and I want you to press your hands firmly into each other to drive your chest open. Trying to think about moving your chest to be in line with your thumbs. Okay, so we're turning through that thoracic spine. And I want you to think about extending your tailbone back behind you as you extend your chest forward to the space in front of you. Now notice if your right knee is dropped back and your left knee has shot forward, try and level out the knees so they're next to each other. And then find a connection between your left elbow and left knee. Take 1 more deep breath. Twist a little deeper, exhale. And then hands down, forward fold. Inhale, sink your hips. Reach your arms up, chair pose. Hands to the heart, right into the other side. Right elbow to the inside of your right knee. And twist your chest open. Think about pressing the palms, moving the chest towards the thumbs. Tailbone will go back, chest will go forward, and make sure those knees are in line with each other. Couple deep breaths. Drive the knee and the elbow into each other so you have something to work against. Opening up that upper back, firming into the outer hips. So we're stabilizing our hips here. Take 1 more inhale. And then forward fold, exhale. Inhale, flat back, lengthen your spine. And then plant your hands, step back into your plank. Lower chaturanga on your toes or your knees. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. You have the option to mix it up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Out through the mouth, exhale. Just let it go. Deep breath in. Full breath out. And take your right leg up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, knee towards your nose, round the upper back. Just feel the belly engage. Inhale, lift up and back. I'm going to use that same belly engagement to step the foot through. Land lightly. And then we're going to be on the ball of our back foot. Feet are hips distance apart and they're parallel to each other. Inhale, rise up, crescent pose. Little bend in your back knee. Find that lift of the belly so we're not in our low back. We're stabilizing through that pelvis. And we're going to move into a twist. And when we twist, it's really easy for those hips to shift, okay? So I'm going to take a look down at the front of your hip points, those little bones in the front, and I want you to level them out. So if it looks like your left hip is forward of your right, see if you can pull that left hip up and back, okay? Arms will go up towards the ceiling. Keep those legs and pelvis just where they are, and then we're going to sweep our right arm back and move into a twist. Squeeze and stabilize the hips. Imagine that you're in between two panes of glass, one on either side of your feet. And you're trying to stay inside those panes of glass, squeezing the legs, keeping those hips neutral so that the twist comes purely from this thoracic spine and the hips are stabilizing the pelvis and the lumbar spine. Only twist as much as you can keep this in the upper back. And gaze can either be forward or to the side. If your neck feels okay, you can take the gaze all the way back towards the right hand. Take one more breath. Full exhale. And then sweep your arm down and up. Take it up towards your crescent pose. And then hands to the ground. Exhale, step back, taking it through a vinyasa. Elbows bend, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. You can always go right to downward facing dog. And hips up and back, downward facing dog. So when we do these vinyasas of the chaturanga, cobra, and downward facing dog, we're just working to build heat. So if you feel like you have enough heat in your body or you're trying to take it a little bit easier today, you just skip those when I offer them and go right to downward facing dog. And just remember that child's pose is always an option. So just resting on your knees. Left leg up towards the ceiling, inhale. Knee towards your nose, exhale. Just feel your belly. Push strong into your hands. Inhale, lift the leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, using your belly, step your foot in between the hands. Ball of the back foot, inhale, rise, crescent pose. Soften the shoulders, soften the back knee so that you can find the pelvis. And then do a quick check in with that right hip. Notice if it's dropped forward and down. See if you can lift it up and back. And then we're going to sweep that left arm down and back and moving into a twist to the left without shifting the pelvis. Shoulders are soft. Shoulders are stacked over the hips, not leaning forward, not leaning back. And engage through the arms. And imagine that pane of glass on this left side of your body and then also behind you on the right side. Moving deeper into that twist with each exhale, trying to stay really long through the spine, lifting out through the crown of the head. And then maybe the gaze is forward, maybe it's to the side, maybe you can turn it towards that left hand. And see if you can squeeze the legs a little bit more, energize the arms, and then drop the left hand down and up, reach crescent pose, hands to the ground, exhale, step back, either downward facing dog or move through a vinyasa. Chaturanga, cobra or upward facing dog, and downward facing dog, exhale. Deep breath in. Full breath out. And take your right leg up towards the ceiling, inhale. Exhale, step your foot in between the hands using your belly. Turn the left foot onto its side and inhale, rise up, warrior one. So we're grounding down through that pinky edge of your back foot. Pull the belly in, the hips are square. And then we're going to interlace the hands behind your back. Maybe walk that right foot about an inch or two to the right. Inhale, lift and open your chest and feel that work between the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades move together. We're opening up across the collarbones and chest in front of the shoulders. And then as you exhale, forward fold. Maybe the belly rests on the thigh as you stretch your arms up and over. Maybe you can nestle that rib cage inside that right inner knee and reaching that head down towards the floor. And we're hugging that right hip in and back. So we're opening into that right hip joint here. And then check in with your left inner thigh. If it's completely relaxed, can you engage the quad, engage that inner thigh, lifting it away from the floor, and ground and root down through that left foot. And we're going to continue to ground into that left foot to peel our chest back up and rise back up into your warrior one. Inhale, maybe the palms touch. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor, stepping your right foot back, either downward facing dog or take it through your vinyasa. Inhale, cobra, pressing through the tops of the feet. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out, hugging the upper arms towards the ears. Left leg up, inhale. Step your foot through, exhale. Right foot onto its side, ground the outer edge of the foot. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Sinking into that front leg, right hip rolls forward, and then interlace your hands behind your back, opposite finger on top. Inhale, lift and open your chest. See if you can draw the shoulders back. Feel the shoulder blades move towards each other and extending into that thoracic spine. The belly's engaged to support the low back. And on your next exhale, forward fold. Belly either rests on the thigh or maybe you nestle inside that left leg. Hugging the left hip back, firming and engaging that right leg. And then get a little more juicy of a squeeze through your hands and your shoulders to open the chest. Deep breath out. And rooting down through that right foot. Start to lift up through your chest. Rise up, warrior one, inhale. Maybe the palms touch overhead. Hands to the floor, exhale. Step back into your plank. Optional vinyasa or downward facing dog. Shoulders back, inhale. And exhale, downward facing. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And one more breath. We're going to move into a twist in our crescent pose now. Deep breath in, so a little bit deeper. Full exhale. And float your right leg up, inhale. We're going to bring our right knee towards your left tricep, but keep your shoulders square. And then bring it up as high as you can. If this is too much, you can always lower that left knee for a little modified twist here. Otherwise, pulling that knee up towards your left tricep, back of the arm, breathe. And then bring the knee back to your chest and step the foot through. Inhale, rise, crescent pose, a little bend in your back knee. Get long and tall through your spine. And then bring your hands to your heart, exhale. We're gonna lean forward and we're gonna twist to the right. And I want you to find that twist from your core first. So twisting as far as you can, and then check in. If your left elbow has not reached outside that right thigh, then we probably don't have enough active strength to just rest it outside there. Then we're kind of pushing beyond our flexibility limits. Okay, so if it's not possible to twist that far, you're just gonna take your left hand down and take your right arm up towards the ceiling. If you do feel like you have the range of motion, you can take your left elbow outside your right knee and use leverage of your hand to twist. Option to also take the knee down to the floor in either of these two variations. Okay, so listen to your body. Wherever you are, I want you to do a quick check. Bring your hand to the back of your pelvis, back of your sacrum, and notice if that left hip has sunk towards the floor. I want you to lift the back of that left hip up and pull the belly in so we are stabilizing through this lumbar spine, stabilizing through the pelvis as we open the hips and open our thoracic spine. Okay? Very important to listen to your body so that we don't compensate. Take one more deep breath. And hand to the floor, exhale. Step the right leg back. Optional vinyasa or downward facing dog. Chaturanga, cobra or upward facing dog. And hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Reaching from your hands all the way up to your hips. Other side. Left leg up, inhale. Knee towards your right tricep, exhale, as high as you can. So rather than reaching towards the wrist, see if you can reach it up towards your bicep or tricep, back of the arm. Press into the hands. And then knee to chest and use your belly to step that foot through. Stand the ball of your back foot, inhale, rise, crescent pose. Soft bend in your back knee to stabilize the pelvis, hands to the heart, exhale. Lean forward, twist to the left using your core. Check in. How far can you go? Okay, if it feels like a huge reach to get that arm outside your thigh, then take the option of hand on the ground. Some days we feel a little bit more restricted than others. And then top arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're modifying with the knee down, whatever variation you took on the other side, try to take it here, trying to match those sides. Squeezing the hips together. Maybe check in, take that left hand to the back of the pelvis, sacrum, and then check in to see if that right hip has dropped towards the floor. That's the common compensation. Try and lift that right hip up as you sink forward. And then that rotation comes from the upper back. Take one more deep breath. And hand down, exhale. Step your left leg back to meet the right. Optional vinyasa, chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra. Squeeze your legs and downward facing dog, exhale. Deep breath in. Full breath out. And let's take a quick child's pose. Knees down, sink your hips towards your heels. Arms can be forward or back. And just take a couple deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to do a little sequence to get into those hips and upper back. Breathing deep. And this will be our last standing sequence. And then start to lift up when you're ready and make your way into your downward facing dog. And bring your feet close together. Take your right leg up, inhale. Knee towards your nose, use your belly to step that foot through. And inhale, rise, crescent pose. Soft bend in that back knee, neutral pelvis. We're gonna press into that right foot to draw the left knee up towards our chest and bring the hands to the heart. So we're actively finding this hip flexion with the left leg. Strong, stable right leg, so we're using our outer right hip, okay? A lot of times when we compensate and feel discomfort in the low back, it's because our outer hip stabilizers aren't doing the job. And then our QL, that low back muscle, tries to kick in, okay? So strong, stable outer left hip, or right hip, pulling that left knee towards your chest and breathe. And we're going to take our right hand to the front of your left knee to stabilize. Now here, I want you to drive your left knee into your right hand. Okay, that's going to prevent this hip from dropping back. So you're going to push your left knee forward into the hand, and then you're going to take your left arm and reach it back behind you. So twisting to the left. We're driving energetically our left hand into the right. It's going to feel like a lot of work in that right arm as well. Standing strong into that right hip and twisting open to the left. Okay, take a couple breaths, finding that rotation in the upper back while we stabilize the low back and hips. You can see there's a theme here. Deep breath in, firming that back arm. Deep breath out. You're going to bring your left arm back, hands to your chest. You're going to reach back. We're going to come back into crescent pose, reach up, inhale. And we're going to do that 3 times. So you're going to lean forward, hands to your heart, bring your left knee up, right hand to your left knee, press your knee into your hand as you twist back. Feel that work in your upper back. Hands come back to your heart, reach back, inhale, crescent pose. You'll feel that right hip working. Hands to your heart, left knee towards your chest, right hand to your knee. As you drive that knee forward, twist to the left. Squeeze that right hip. Hands to your heart, reach the leg back, inhale, and exhale, hands to the floor, step back, plank, optional vinyasa, or we'll meet in downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And right into the other side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Knee towards your nose and step the foot through. Rise up, crescent pose. Inhale. Soft bend in your back knee so you're stabilizing the hips. And then lean into that left leg as you bring your hands to your heart and bring that right knee up as high as you can without bending that standing leg. Okay? Take your left hand to the front of your right shin. Drive your shin and knee into the hand to move that right side of the pelvis forward. And then take that right arm up and back, finding your twist. So you'll feel that you're stabilizing the hips, you're engaging your core to find more rotation in that upper back. Reaching back, find energetic reaching of your right knee forward. And then bring your hands back to center. Reach back with that right leg, land lightly, reach up, crescent pose. Hands to your heart, lean forward, knee to chest, squeezing that outer left hip. Left hand to right knee, reach your right arm back. Try and find more extension, more rotation with each repetition. Hands to your heart, lean forward, land lightly with that right leg, lift up. Last one, hands to heart, step that right knee up and forward. Left hand to your knee, drive the knee forward to twist to the right. Open it up. Hands to heart, lean back, reach back, and arms up, crescent pose. Hands down, step back. Chaturanga, moving through your vinyasa or downward facing dog. Opening your chest and hips up and back. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Reaching those hips up and back. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Right leg up towards the ceiling. Inhale. This is the last little bit. Right foot steps forward. Rise up, crescent pose. We're just adding on to this. Hands to the heart. Step that left knee up. Driving that knee towards your chest. Right hand to the front of the knee. Twist, reach, open. Okay. You're going to hover and release that right hand. So that left knee is driving up. We're maintaining the twist. And then as the left leg goes back, the left arm goes up. And it's like we're swimming. We're going to take our left hand down to the floor, right arm up. So we're in this revolved half moon. Okay, you're going to use your right leg. Core is tight. You're reaching that left arm back up and you're coming right back into that position, that twist. Drive your knee into the hand. Last one, left arm reaches up, kick back, reach through the heel, revolved half moon, stand strong into that right leg. Lifting up, left arm reaches up and over, drive your left knee forward into that hand twist. And then hands to the heart, reach back into your crescent pose, arms up, inhale. Hands down, exhale, step back, optional vinyasa or into your downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We have the left side to do, and then we're coming onto our backs. Left leg up, inhale. Step the left leg through, exhale. Ball of your back foot. Inhale, rise up, crescent. Hands to your heart as you step your right knee forward and up. Left hand to the knee and shin. Reach your right arm back as you press your right knee forward. Okay, we're going to release the right leg as we reach our right arm up and over like we're swimming. Right hand comes down, left arm goes up. Strong back leg, core is tight. Press strong into the left leg as you reach up and back. Grab the knee, press the knee into the hand. One more, reach up with the right hand, kick back strong with the right leg, opening your chest, reaching back up, grab the knee, reach the right arm back. Good, and then hands to your chest, reaching back strong with that right foot, crescent pose, inhale, hands to the ground, exhale, optional vinyasa or downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full exhale, and take your knees down to the floor and find your child's pose. A little rock of your hips side to side. Let your forehead rest on the mat. Full deep breaths. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more deep breath. Full exhale. Good. And coming back into your downward facing dog. If you know you have knee stuff and you like to take pigeon on your back or figure four on your back, come onto your back and I'll meet you there in a second. Otherwise, we're going to take our right leg up and you're going to step your right foot forward, trying to get that shin close to parallel to the front edge of your mat. And then you're going to walk your left leg back. If this feels like too much or if you can't square your hips to the floor, I want you to prop that right hip up with a pillow or putting some blankets underneath your front of the left hip and back of the right hip. If you can maintain this position without rolling into that right hip, great. We're going to roll that left hip forward, long spine inhale, and either walking your hands forward so you're on your elbows, maybe you make a pillow and rest, okay? If you're on your back, right ankle over your left knee, grab behind the left thigh, and we're going to press the back of your pelvis into the floor so you find a natural curve in that low back as you pull the left knee towards you. So rather than just pulling it in, we'll get a much deeper stretch if you press the back of the hips down and then gently using your right elbow to press that knee forward. And deep breaths. And a few more breaths here. And if you are in pigeon pose facing the floor, I'm going to have you press down through your hands, lift that right leg up and back, and then we'll switch sides. If you're on your back, just switch left ankle over the right knee, grab behind your right thigh, and pressing that left knee forward as you press the back of your hips towards the floor. So trying to find that natural curve in the low back. And then just close your eyes here. And notice if the breath is in your shoulders or chest, or if it's truly in your belly, just like we worked on at the beginning of class. So trying to inhale, moving deeper into the rib cage and abdomen. Getting that breath out of the chest, out of those accessory muscles in the shoulders, in the neck. And we'll take 2 more rounds of breath here. Allowing yourself to get softer with each one. And if you're on your back, you're going to hug your knees in towards your chest, and you're going to rock up to a seat. If you're in pigeon on the left side, you'll make your way to downward facing dog, and then you'll take your knees down and meet us here in a seat. And so we're going to come into this modified pigeon variation. It's called 90-90. So I'm going to have you take your right shin forward, and we're going to do some modifications here in just a second. So start with right leg forward, left leg back, 90 degrees with both legs. And then if this feels very challenging to sit upright with your spine, so if you feel like you're trying to sit upright and you can't really do it without making a C shape with your spine, you're going to kickstand your hand out to the right. Okay. So if you're here, you're just going to walk your hand over to the right. So we're opening up this left side, okay? And if this is uncomfortable at all in the knees or in the hip joint, especially that back leg, if your hips are really tight, it can feel uncomfortable here because we're deepening that internal rotation. So you can just take that back foot and pull the heel in towards your hip. You can also modify deeper with taking that right foot in as well. Okay, so just taking it from a 90-90 to this shortened version, but our femurs are still at 90-90. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of work here into opening the hips, and we're gonna do that in an active way. And so we just passively release the hips, and now I wanna turn them back on before I send you off for the rest of the day, so that they can continue to do the work of stabilizing your low back. So from this position, whether you're kickstanded out to the side or whether you're able to sit upright, hands on the ground, okay? You're gonna think about trying to lift your right foot off the ground. It's not gonna go anywhere. I want it staying down, but I want you thinking about lifting that leg off the ground while you keep your right knee down, and just notice how the muscles on the top side of this leg start to engage. You're gonna keep that engagement and think about your leg pulling your torso forward. I have a straight spine, so I'm actually hinging at my right hip joint to fold forward. And now I'm going to shift the direction. I want you to drive your right foot, shin, and knee into the floor to use your hip to push your torso back upright. So our spine is staying straight throughout this. This is called kinetic stretching. Okay, we're actively moving. I want you to think about lifting that right hip to shift your torso forward. Hinge at the hip joint. Now drive your right shin and foot into the ground to use your right hip to drive your torso back upright. We're going to do one more. Lift the foot to hinge forward and hold. Okay? Relax the leg. We're going to stay in this position. Again, you can be kickstanded out to the side. That's perfectly fine. You should feel a deep stretch in that right hip. I want you to press. Imagine there's a scale underneath that right foot. Push your right foot down about 20% effort. 30%, ramping up that intensity. 40, you should feel the outside of that right hip. 50, keep your spine long and chest forward. 60, and hold. Your greatest, safest effort of pressing down, holding that for 10, 9, engage your core ever so slightly. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now try to lift that foot off the ground without changing your position. You're moving that hip into a deeper stretch by actively using the tissue on the top side of the leg. Holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Relax the leg. Take a deep breath in. Full exhale. One more deep breath in. Full exhale. Walk your hands upright. You're going to point your left toes and you're going to work your left knee open. And we're just going to transition to the other side. Let that right knee drop forward and left leg drop open. Okay, so now we're in 90 facing the back of the mat. Okay, again, if you took a modification and pulled those feet in, and if it feels like you need that on this side as well, take that variation. If you feel like you're collapsing into that right rib cage, lengthen your spine and kickstand out as much as you need to. And only go to the edge as much as you need to. So we don't want to go so far that we're not working within our ability and limits. Okay, so start to shift forward, thinking about lifting that left foot, shin, and knee off the ground, leaning and hinging from our hip joint, not rounding our back to go forward. So be very mindful about that. This movement is coming from the hip joint. Once you're at that end range, drive your foot and shin into the ground. So you're using your left outer hip to drive you upright. Lift your foot, shin, and knee and drive forward. And now drive your foot, shin, and knee down to lift upright. One more. Lift your foot, shin, and knee, shifting towards your end point. Find your end range of motion and hold. Relax the leg. And now we're going to drive like there's a scale underneath that left foot. So pushing down through that foot, trying to rotate from the hip joint, pressing down 20%, 30%, 40, 50, 60, hold. Our core is gently pulling in. 10, 9, 8, 7, feel that outer left hip. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now try and lift your foot and shin off the ground, reaching and lifting up. 10, 9. We're deepening into that stretch without changing anything else other than the hip joint. 5, 4, 3, 2. Relax the leg. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Relaxing all the tissue around that hip joint, sending oxygen. Deep breath in. Full breath out. And slowly rising upright. You'll make your way back to center. And then spin around and come onto your back. So making your way onto your back. Knees in towards your chest. You're going to take your right leg in towards your chest. Leg up towards the ceiling. Left leg out in front of you. And we'll just do 2 big, slow ankle circles with that right foot. Other direction. And then we'll switch sides. Left leg up, right leg forward. Big ankle circles with that left leg. Maybe you get some snaps and pops. Other direction. And maybe even start to close your eyes. We're shifting gears. And place your feet flat. Place your feet all the way to the edges of your mat. Bring your arms out to those cactus shape like we did at the beginning. And then just windshield wiping your legs side to side. Zippering up that low belly. And just check in. Notice if these windshield wipers feel slightly different than the start of class. Good. And then you're going to hold those knees over to the left, staying here, slight zippering in of the belly. Maybe your left ankle moves on top of that right knee for a little extra assistance. Maybe you drop your head over to the right. Releasing the ankle from the knee. If you crossed, draw your knees back to center. Drop them over to the right. Maybe looking to the left. Maybe taking that left ankle outside the right ankle outside the left knee. Slight drawing in of the belly. And releasing that foot. Draw your knees back up. And then take your legs straight out for a Shavasana. Arms down by your side. Snuggle your shoulders underneath you. Palms up towards the ceiling. Letting your feet drop out. And then allowing yourself to settle in. Deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Exhale. And do a quick scan of the body, softening the feet, melting those hips deeper into the floor, softening the shoulders and upper back. And then letting that head completely rest. All of the tension through the back of the neck, let it soften. And softening that tongue away from the roof of the mouth, separating the teeth ever so slightly. Maybe letting those lips gently part, just so your jaw has this natural relaxation through it. And allow yourself to rest, to be still. And gently start to bring some movement into your fingers and toes. And if you do have time to stay here, I invite you to stay longer in your Shavasana. Otherwise, stretch your arms, stretch your legs, reach and stretch like you're just waking up. And then bend your knees, roll off to your right side. And gently pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat with the eyes closed. And with the hands resting on your knees, sit up tall. Roll the shoulders back. Lean back ever so slightly so your shoulders are stacked over your hips, encouraging all of those spinal muscles to awaken. And relaxing through the fronts of the hips as best you can. And just taking a moment to observe the effects of your practice. So maybe there's been some opening, some shifts, some energy, some space created in the body. And just observe and notice. And drawing your hands to your heart center. Inhale, lifting your chest. Exhale, bowing your chin down. And just honoring yourself and this practice with gratitude. And inhale, lift the head. Place your thumbs on your third eye center, right between the eyes. And the teacher in me honors the teacher in you. Namaste.